Hello, this is Elizabeth Clare Brewington, and I'm here with a multifaceted, multi talented woman, and she amazes me because she does a lot of great stuff. So, Maria, tell us a little bit about yourself and about these wonderful books that you have. And I am so excited to have another podcaster on my show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm a civil litigation attorney based in Washington, D.C. I'm a podcaster. My podcast is called Becoming Your Best Version. I am an author. My most popular book is called 50 After 50, Reframing the Next Chapter of Your Life. And in that book, I talk about how at age 50, my life blew up and I became an empty nester. I got sober, I got divorced. Started practicing law after a 15-year hiatus raising my children and tried 50 new things in my 50th year to determine how I wanted to live the next chapter of my life. That experience is encapsulated in a TEDx talk I have called Turning Life's Challenges into a Force for Good. I have a second TEDx talk, which will be out soon, about DNA test surprises and a book about my DNA test surprise and the implications of consumer DNA tests that most people don't think about when they take these tests that are marketed as fun holiday gifts. Um, I am the daughter of a Filipino immigrant, but I was born in the US to a white father and navigated mostly white spaces in my life and didn't really embrace my ethnic heritage until later in life. And I have two adult children. My son actually was People Magazine's sexiest TikToker alive. He has 20 million followers across platforms. His name is Kuel Olsen, and you can see him on TikTok and Instagram primarily. And I'm really proud of both of my kids who have taken vastly different paths. But I also am a mentor to women in recovery. I have 13 years of sobriety, and I have a side gig helping female authors market their books. So I have a lot of things going on, and I am a high energy person who loves to. I'm starting a new course actually for women in peri or post or menopause to talk about all the things our mothers never told us.
You know what? I really love everything you're doing. And when I saw your pitch to me to be on our show, I said, I gotta have her on the show because my audience is gonna love everything that you offer. We have a book club, we have an authors club, we have menopause women, we are getting ready to launch our women's conference. We have people who, like I am from India and I've started a channel called the Bombay Podcast
Oh,
about
I
the
love it.
city that I'm from. And your story about being raised by a white father and being in a white environment and you losing out on your Philippine heritage. You know, I live in a rural area of North Carolina and there's like only 30 Indians in the whole city. And you know, people think India is in Africa, and so you know, I have lost my cultural friends and you know my roots of food and traditions, and so that's why I'm starting this podcast to educate more people about it. But so we have a lot to talk about on this interview, so I'm going to break it down. Let's start with you know, being an attorney and helping people who are going through a lot of changes in their lives. And especially if you've been through a divorce and been a single parent and raising someone. So that journey, you know, what was that like and bringing you here today? Then the second part of the interview, I will get into your books, and then we'll talk about the 50, the most favorite part that I like is about the 50 things that you tried. And then we'll talk about other things as well. So let's begin with your journey of how you got to raising kids and survival, and then how you got to being an attorney.
Okay, well, as the daughter of a Filipino immigrant, I was encouraged to become either a doctor or a lawyer. And when I fainted at the sight of blood, my mom focused her efforts on getting me to be a lawyer, which I did. And I did it primarily for her. And I had a lot of success, worked in one of the biggest Washington, D.C. law firms. I was a political appointee in the Clinton administration. I have had a lot of professional success. But if I were to start over without any parental involvement in my career choices, I would probably want to be a broadcast journalist. And that was not a field that was open to me at the time. I wish I could start over, but I'm doing it myself by having my own podcast. And I was also lucky enough to have a radio show on in DC for almost a decade. And so I did it on my own as a side gig. And I realized that being a lawyer is generally a lot more lucrative. So I'm lucky that I have the law to fall back upon. And now that I'm 62, I'm working part-time as a litigator and really focusing more on all of my wonderful side gigs, which are mostly writing, but include my podcast and a lot of public speaking. And I was lucky enough to get two TEDx talks, for instance. So my mother actually said to me about a year ago, if I had known how much you like to talk, I probably would have supported you becoming a journalist. So that was funny, but that was not her mindset when I was younger. And luckily, I'm really good at academics, so I went to a top 10 law school. My father, who raised me, turns out not to be my biological father, which I found out through a DNA test I took at age 53. And I spent a year looking for my biological father, found him, and it turns out he and I are a lot more alike. And he is an actor I had watched on the big and small screens over the course of my life. So that has been an interesting shift in my life. But so I went to a great law school. I met my fiance there. He became my husband. We were married for 25 years. And then as my children pushed me away, as adolescents and teenagers do, I felt rudderless and I started drinking more and more and more. It got out of control. My husband gave me an ultimatum and sent me to rehab. And in rehab, I dealt with things that I had pushed away for most of my life. And I, for instance, was a victim of childhood sexual abuse and rape. And I pretended those things didn't happen. And if you hold significant trauma at bay, it's like holding a beach ball underwater. It emerges without you knowing it if you're not being vigilant. So I had to deal with those things before I could move on in a really healthy way. So I did that at age 50 and no longer kept secrets about my life. I spoke at the National March to End Rape Culture, for instance, and help a lot of women who have been too scared to come forward. So I significantly changed my life at age 50 and shifted more to things that fed me, that brought me joy and a sense of purpose. And I really like the life that I've designed for myself. It's not the Hallmark card or Hallmark movie that I envisioned for myself, which was largely the result of socialization and cultural norms. But I like my life. I travel extensively. I've been to 80 countries. I do really a lot of things that bring me joy. And while my life isn't perfect, the things that I can control in my life, I'm really pleased that I have. And so I'm paying it forward now through my writing and one-on-one work and public speaking.
I love your story because when I talk to people who have been victimized and gone through things that you've gone through, of course, no one one experience is the same as for another. But when you can take a bad situation, turn it around, write a book, and give it back to the universe, I think that's really good karma, because now you're blessing others who may be going through what you're going through. And by doing that, you're helping them to get great lives. So tell me about this. 50 years sounds like a big landmark year in your life, that you wrote a book and that you tried 50 things. So since you talk a lot about travel, because there must be so many things to talk about, let's talk about some of the 50 things with travel that you did.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the most impactful thing I did was I sold many of my belongings, put the rest in storage, and moved to Nepal, to high in the Himalayas, the poorest region of Nepal, named Karnali. And I volunteered in a school there, lived with the family, no running water or electricity. And what that became for me was an exercise in cultivating gratitude, to focus on all that I had instead of all that I had lost. By dumb virtue, luck of being born in the US, I have a safety net, a social safety net. I know that I have access to clean water and shelter and food, even if I'm homeless. So I was able to focus on all these good things in my life. I still had my health. And the people I worked with there taught me about true roots of happiness, and that they come most deeply through relationships. And the community was very close. They helped one another. I was in a place of immense beauty in the Himalayas. I just came back from that trip fundamentally changed. And I still think about that trip often. I helped to build a library there after I got back through raising funds and collecting books that I sent there. And I feel really good about that. I have friends still from Nepal who I'm in contact with. So that was probably the most significant. But as I outline in my story, written and spoken, you don't have to go to the other side of the world to have a transformative travel experience. You can simply start by going to the next town over. Or for me, living in Washington, D.C., I had never been to many of the embassies here or all of the free museums. So I started by walking more, walking whenever I could instead of driving, and I found beautiful gardens I had never noticed before. I interacted with people who lived near me who I had never stopped to talk to before, and I found ways to enrich my life in inexpensive ways. So I encourage people to walk more, to really open their senses to what's around them to start. And then, if you're a little bit nervous about taking solo trips, which I'm a big fan of now, take a day away, do a day trip by yourself, take a weekend away, and build your confidence. And there are a lot of groups for older travelers like Road Scholar that you could start with and then maybe branch out from when you're in a foreign place. So I think what Mark Twain said about travel, eradicating bigotry and increasing your perspective. I forgot the exact quote, but it's so true that it's a way to increase your view of the world and to learn about other cultures and to learn about yourself by getting off the hamster wheel of your normal existence. So I think travel is can be transformative and recommend it to everyone. So I've now been to every continent and 80 countries, and I'm trying to go to all of them when safety allows. So, yeah, I am a huge proponent of travel as a way to uplevel your life.
That is so fantastic. Because I know travel really, I have had the blessing that I was able to work abroad and live abroad, and I was able to really meet different people, and it does change you, and it does make you a better person. So there you have it. Get her book. What's the name of the book, and where can people find the book, and how can people get to know about your podcast, and tell us how people can reach you?
Well, go to my website, marialeonardolsen.com, which has links to everything. But my book is available on Amazon, and any bookstore will or library will get it for you if they don't already have it, because it has really great reviews by professional reviewers and regular people. And my TEDx talk, podcast, you can find those from my website, or my podcast is available on 6 platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Amazing. And she's got a son that is a big TikTok star and a celebrity, so that sounds really
Yeah.
cool. So wonderful. Thank you for this interview. I know how busy you are, and I will make sure that people know more about you. And everyone, please subscribe to our channel, write us a comment, and get the book and write a review. The lifetime of an author is reviews. And so we want you to go and get the book, write a review wherever you can, and that makes us feel good because we know that you're paying attention. So Brightside does 2 things. We do videos so you get more visibility, and we write reviews so that you get a credible set of people following you and making purchases. Video and reviews are number 1 on any social media channel that helps an author. So go do that. And thank you for watching Brightside.